Welcome back, everyone, to the AAA, also known as the AAA podcast, where we talk everything alcoholism from... Wait, no. Let me try that again.
Round two, guys.
Round two. Welcome back, everyone, to the AAA, also known as the AAA podcast, where we talk everything AA from alcoholism to recovery. I'm your host, Jovan, alongside the one and only...
Hey, it's the Darren G. Or
That's
Darren
right.
G. Or I don't know, it changes every week. Y'all guys already
DG can be anything, yeah.
know. That was my
It's
first
Darren.
Instagram.
You know
was
Darren. You know Joe. You know
The
Darren.
Darren G. That was my first Instagram, was the
Nice.
Darren G. And nobody ever understood it because my name is spelled Derron. So
Yeah.
O-N next to G. So it's the Darren G. But O-N-G together, people always thought it was Darong.
Mm-hmm.
The Darong.
Darong. The Darong. Oh my god.
That had
Yeah.
to change.
Lowercase and then uppercase. Yeah. That sucks. But yeah.
Yeah, the Darong.
It's one of those things. The Darong. Yeah. Dang.
Sucks.
Yeah. I have thejovan.com on all my usernames, but like,
That's
yeah, there's no mistaking what it is. Everyone knows the word Joe, and yeah.
It's
The
the
Darong.
Joe.
Dang.
Every time people are like, the Darong.
Yeah.
What is
The
that?
Darong.
My
Like,
name
what does
is
that
Darren.
mean?
And then
So
there's
like
a
a
G
sex
next
name?
to it. Like,
Yeah.
sheesh.
Nice.
So
Well, hey, we're back, everyone. What to do?
Hi guys.
So
What I do?
at the time of our recording, it is November 8th. So this is going to drop like 3 weeks from now. But in our timeline, because we're in the past, the elections down under just took place, and or it's still not done yet, but it basically is, and Biden won. For a lot of people, that means drinking. Regardless of who won, it would, that's I've been seeing that a lot on Twitter and other forms of social media. Is whether a cause for celebration or disaster, the answer is drinking. And it's like, of course it is. That's what it always is. New Year's, drinking. Patrick's Day, drinking.
Christmas
Easter,
is coming up.
drinking.
It's gonna be a lot of eggnog with liquor in it.
Yeah. I remember actually
Like
back in
Baileys.
my heydays of drinking. I went to the LCBO and I tried buying eggnog with whiskey in it. That was disgusting, but I still drank it. Yeah, it's a bad mix, but like enough people like it that it was made, right?
Okay, so have you ever had something where, like, I call it too much ketchup? My close friends will know what this means. Too much ketchup is like when you overdo something. So it's like, if you've ever had a fry and you dip too much ketchup and then you put it in your mouth, you get that like tingly, like too much. Disgusting. Too much ketchup. You've had it. So I call this too much ketchup, and basically I've had too much ketchup of that.
Yeah. Oh, what, of whiskey eggnog?
Of eggnog.
Of eggnog.
I never really had it with like alcohol in it, but like it's like when I was a kid, I used to just drink it like all the time, and I thought it was like so yummy and delicious. And then like I hit a certain age, I guess it was the age of like, okay, you can put alcohol in it now, and you know what it is. It's like it just changed. It changes with alcohol. It just was disgusting with alcohol with me, and for something, I never wanted it ever again.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, that's like a lot of things. Well, for me, I think I was fortunate in the mere chance that I didn't like eggnog as a kid, so I didn't have it at all. Like I had it once when I was 10. I was like, I don't like this, and then so I just never had it again until I was like 25, and I'm like, ooh. So that's because I didn't drink it when I was younger. Even if I did, I probably would have gotten sick of it. But something I did get sick of. And friends of mine too have told me about this back when we were like binge drinking like crazy when we were teenagers and going into college, was Powerade or Gatorade. For some people it's Coca-Cola, where that's like your mix. Like you just grab a thing of vodka and then whatever the thing is. And for us it was Powerade, and we just mix Powerade and vodka until it got to a point where smelling Powerade, like especially the morning after, Powerade is nothing. There's nothing wrong with Powerade. It's innocent, but we would sniff it and get sick to our stomach because it would just make us think of vodka. And so that association was like permanently stained in our brains.
What? Okay, might I ask why Gatorade and Powerade? Like they're relative to the same, like Gatorade and Powerade, but
sugar water. Because for some people they will make screwdrivers where it's orange juice and vodka, and for us
that's orange juice though. That's not.
It makes
and
sense.
Like even like what is like porn stars? It's like concentrated, flavor. That is like the least amount of flavor. It's like
with Powerade.
It's like salt
Yeah.
water. Powerade's
No,
like
that's
salt water. It's not.
fine.
Is it sugary water really?
Yeah, no. It's salt and sugar. Yeah, it's both.
Okay, okay.
Depends on what you
Fair
get. If
enough.
you get
I just feel
Gatorade
like
2 or whatever, there's like no sugar in it. It's just kind of salt water. But
I
yeah,
feel like you might as well just be taking shots with water,
that's what we did. It was
like
probably because
flavored
it was
water.
cheap, easily accessible. I don't know. We were like, let's
Fair
not buy
enough.
orange juice
Fair
because orange
enough.
juice will go bad. But you can have like Powerade sitting out on a countertop for like 3 days and just keep feeding yourself that with vodka.
True, actually. Yeah. Okay. That is a legitimate reason.
That's the only thing I could think of, the logical reason why we chose it.
Because I'm like, why
But
wouldn't you just use like
anything
regular juice
else,
is so much better. I don't know.
yeah.
Just when you're young, it's like whatevs.
You do the grossest shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but there was a moment in time where I got mixing wine, like for cooking wine,
Okay.
and
Wow.
it's not made for consumption. And
Yeah. No.
I
No. 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 No.
and I would drink that. I would just like it was like in my house, and I had like 10 bottles of it inside of a week or two, and I just drank it all. Yeah, it was the most disgusting thing ever. That's the same as like drinking hand sanitizer. Like it's not good for you, but it just did that.
I've
Because I
never.
was like, I want to get drunk and I don't have money, and like, here's an option.
Way.
Yeah,
Way. No way. That's too like. Ugh.
that's like an alcoholic thing to do. Yeah, that's
Even
something
I
no
used to work in a restaurant. And I never, ever drank wine out of the. There always was wine out of like a thing you can get
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's like cooking wine. Never once would I ever. Because I just felt like that would be like the equivalent of like for sure me
the
opening up a
low
hand
bottom.
sanitizer and just like
Mhm. Yeah, and it is disgusting at first, but then
it's
the more
all
you
good
have it,
though.
the more drunk you get, and then your tongue just gets coated with it, and you don't really taste it anymore.
Yeah, because like and
It's
even
fucked up.
too,
I mean,
that's not that. Like, we're making it seem like it's not that bad at all.
there
It's
are
not
worse
that
things.
bad. Like
Yeah,
it's like there's like scales, and that's not that low on the scale.
it's
Like
like it is
hand
still technically
sanitizer is
fine.
like dead. Like
It's way worse.
yeah.
Yeah. And I have another equivalent to that. Something I've never personally done, but I saw someone even as recently as like a week ago do this.
Okay.
People, I'm assuming mostly homeless people, but also regular people who are just are very mentally sick, will walk around popular areas like the corner of like a Fortino's or something, and just look for cigarette butts on the ground
Oh yeah, yeah.
that would
It's
still have a pull or two
a
out,
thing.
and they'll just grab almost completely smoked cigarettes, and they'll just collect hundreds of them and then just like try to light it and just get one or two puffs and then like get another one.
Is that bad? I feel like that's not that
Well,
bad.
I mean, that's how you can spread coronavirus for sure. Like
Well,
that's
now, yeah, but like say a year ago, that's like
bacterially, that's
common.
disgusting. And also that's
Oh
just such
yeah,
a low thing to do. Like you're just walking around looking at the ground picking up old butts. Like that
it
tastes disgusting
is.
too compared to other cigarettes. Like I don't know, just that idea. I was like, fuck, I will never in my life do that. That seems like such a
You
disgusting
like
thing
you're
to do.
like yeah, you're like you've hit
But
rock
I'll
bottom.
drink cooking wine. Yeah. Oh my god.
Wow, I just feel like the cigarette thing though. Oh. I mean, I just
It's
feel like it makes sense only because this is
only
why
if
I
you have
think it
no
makes
money.
sense. It's
Yeah.
because you don't have money. One, cigarettes are expensive. Two,
Hmm.
three, that's an easy, accessible way just to get a quick something. Like it's not like
One or two
it's so
puffs.
easily accessible. Like it's just so like oop, done. As
Yeah.
opposed to like going and buying a whole pack of full cigarettes for $20 and like have
Yeah.
when you have no money.
Yeah.
And like even though it's like somebody already smoked it and
Yeah, and it's like
like it's
it's
already
a
kind of
squished
like
filter and it's dirty because it's been
dirty
smoked, so
already,
it's like
but like
orange. Yeah.
the act in itself is gross. So it's like,
It's like, oh, I
do you know
guess.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
you know
Like it's
what?
just
That's
it
a good
seems
way
like
to
it's
think of
dirty
it. Yeah,
already.
the act itself is gross. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's the only justification I'm giving it. It just
If
it
you're,
seems like it makes sense. It's like why would somebody waste that?
yeah,
You know
that's
what I
true.
mean? It's like
That's true.
ugh. I hate saying, it, but it's just that's how I'm like thinking of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Gross.
know what?
It's gross.
Yeah, it's like obviously no one should be drinking cooking wine or smoking other people's cigarettes, but that's the world we live in. And
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully everyone can move on past that.
what you
But
gotta
in
do.
moments of desperation, people do crazy shit. So there you go. Yeah. But so I brought something up just at the top of the pod, and that was the US elections and just
Oh
saying, oh,
yeah.
people are going to drink as an answer to it. First, just generally, can I ask you, Darren, what did you predict? Or did you at all? Did you go in
Um,
without any?
you know what? I did. I honestly did think Trump was gonna win at like at a certain point in
Yeah,
the.
when they were counting it and he was just
I
getting
was like,
all.
okay, he going. So I just kind of
Yeah.
like zoned out after that,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then once I kind of saw that like, and I mean zoned out because I had to forcibly do it because
Like it was so depressing. Yeah.
I was glued to it, like
Right.
right.
Yeah.
I went then on YouTube and I'm watching debates and things like this, and I'm just like, I need out. I need out. I literally shut off my like phone, my everything for a
Yeah.
couple days. I was like, I can't. I did it, and then I saw an interview of a guy. He was like, we won't have the answer till like the weekend, and at this point, it was like Thursday night. I'm just like,
Forget it.
deuces.
Yeah. Since you know it's
Every
going to take that long, there's no point in staying
and
glued,
and
right?
still every time I still checked.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the weird thing is I stayed away from it until Thursday,
I just kept
and
checking
I
so
don't know why,
much.
but
I was like addicted.
yeah.
It's so brutal.
Well, you're not the only one. Like I'm working a gig right now on a kid show, and like everybody I talk to there is just like obsessively tracking it and like watching the map, even though nothing's happening now. It's
Nothing's
just like
happening.
Nevada very slowly checked their counts, and there's still like 4 states that are just checking everything, going through it all, and it's like there's nothing to check because they're not doing anything until it's done, right?
Exactly.
So
So
it's
you
weird,
just
but yeah.
why the hell we watching all this crap? But at the end of the day, he
Well,
won, and I'm happy
yeah,
for him.
that's right. Blue one out of red. And
Even though I'm wearing
yeah, I
red
will
right
say
now.
that's well just shove it in
This
their
is a
faces, right? Be
coincidence,
like,
people.
hey,
This is a coincidence.
also we're Canadian. Red is a good thing for us.
Hey,
You know, it's the maple leaf.
yeah, it's a totally
But it's a different thing in our country. Yeah, yeah. You Americans wouldn't get it. But yeah, it's I gotta say, I didn't expect Trump to even get close. I thought people were using the terms blue wave because I wasn't following it first, right? I was just like, it's Biden, even though Biden sucks, he'll win. It's totally fine. And then at least the world will be right again because you won't have like a psychopath in the office who's just like a man baby. But that wasn't the case. It's like 70 or more million people still voted for Trump. I was thinking like his approval rating, like he won in 2016, and I thought that was the whole world being a troll. Whereas just like people are just like nihilistic and just want the whole world to burn like Joker. But then in the 2020 election, he still gets like 49% of the vote. Like that's insane. That's just depressing to think about. The fact that people still voted for him even after he was around for 4 years. It's nuts. But I mean, it's not enough to make someone drink. I should say that much, right? That's the important thing.
uh,
Even though people in
sure, a lot of
America,
people went crazy this week/weekend.
yeah,
Even though we're
you
still kind
think
of in
that could have been
it.
something that made people jump off the wagon? I
Did
hope
you not
not.
see the
But
riots and all that stuff and like all the
no,
people?
not yet. What is that currently happening now?
It's not like it's like crazy. I'm just during when it was going on, people were acting
The rioting?
like they were
Oh my,
crazy. Like
yeah,
those people were clearly on. I like to say when like people are like super intoxicated, they're like
yeah,
on drugs. Like those
yeah.
people are clearly like wasted and like out
Their
of
inhibitions are
control.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not like all of them are like that. Some of them are like 100%
Actual
coherent.
fanatics.
Haven't touched alcohol. They're
They're
high
just
off of.
crazy.
They're just
The
high off of
riot. Yeah,
everything. Yeah, they're just like.
yeah,
But some people are like clearly drinking and like
yeah.
it's a
Riling
party.
themselves
It's a
up.
party. Like it's like we're partying, we're
Yeah,
gathering, getting together, even though it's Corona. But I
yeah,
guess like even just with Halloween out, like I posted this thing on Instagram and I felt so bad because I don't ever
yeah.
post on Instagram right now because like I don't know why I feel like I'm just in hiding. I hate showing my
Well,
personal life. I don't know why.
yeah, that's totally fine. You shouldn't do anything unless it feels natural. So yeah, if you don't feel like it, don't do it. But yeah, what
And
did you post?
basically I just was like sometimes I don't go on it for a long time and I'll just go on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And I got stuck in a little hole where I was looking at people's stories right after Halloween. And people were like partying. I'm like, okay, so I posted this thing being like, okay, so I guess y'all just pretty much said F
time
COVID.
to get. Yeah, like let's
But
get
like
COVID.
y'all
Who
looked cute
cares?
though. Like some of the outfits were cute, but I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay. Like,
you guys don't
okay.
care. Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
It's just like it's almost like Corona is just like non existent anymore. Even
Or
though it is
well,
for people that care about it, but
yeah. Yeah, people are acting as if it doesn't exist, and it's insane because it's such a cognitive dissonance when you look at the actual statistics of all these people dying every single day, and then people are just pretending like it's not real. They're just trying to ignore it and
yeah.
then act as if nothing's happening and get close into people's faces and stuff. And yeah, it's insane.
Like
The fact
this
that that's still
this
happening.
election, like what were even people are wearing masks? I'm how come people are wearing masks every minute I'm getting ads on my computer screen telling me that my mask has to be like a certain amount of layers and have a filter
Yeah.
because it protects from this, and it can go through my eyes and like all this, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
but what are all these people doing right? Like why is this allowed? Like I'm just like all these people gathering together saying I was watching this one thing, I couldn't even believe it. It was just
Yeah.
it's people, I think it's Pennsylvania and like Arizona maybe. It's like count the vote. They're all like yelling Trump supporters, right? Count the
Right.
vote.
Yeah.
Huge crowds. Count the vote. And then it's cutting to the next scene.
Yeah.
Stop the vote. Stop the
What?
vote. And I'm just
What
like,
at the
what are
same
these?
place? Like, are they just switching their
It's
idea?
Trump's supporters just in
Yeah.
another, because it's
Oh, it's
changing,
another
right?
split.
So it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
1 minute they're stop, count the vote. Next minute they're stop. It's just
They're just
craziness.
making it up. Yeah. They're making
There's
it
a
up as they go.
craziness.
The crowds are
But yet,
pretending to be Trump supporters, but they
yeah,
just
and all
have their
these
own
crowds
agendas.
are just like spreading corona.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's crazy. Definitely doesn't make you want to go travel to America. I'll say that much. Like, I
It's
don't.
well, especially for me being black. Hell no, I don't
No.
want to
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the second
that.
you cross the border, cop will just stop you.
These people are crazy. I just like when you think about it. Do you think that like a lot of it comes down to race or no? Would
What
you
of
say
politics or the insanity?
the vote essentially? Like, is
Well,
someone like when
yeah,
people are
it's a
voting, are they
combination.
really voting against um like I know it sounds like I don't know because it's like for me I don't want to think this way, but it
Yeah.
seems like when you're looking at two sides of it, and on one side it's clear that it's for everyone,
Yeah. Well,
right?
Democrats
It's
versus Republicans are like the old white Christian straight guys. It's like such a niche demographic. And then the other
yeah.
side,
So
Democrats are supposed to be for literally everyone else, like immigrants, like the whole New York idea, right? Is that everyone's welcome.
yeah, like why wouldn't that be the case? Is what I do
Yeah.
not understand.
Well,
But
I think it all boils down, and I don't know how it started, but in America specifically, it became a Christian nation somehow. That's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. It's like Canada is owned by England, and so we got Catholicism because I guess Italy's got a hell of a lot of power. So it's like it makes sense why Canada is like a majority Catholic country, but why is America a majority Christian country? It doesn't make sense to me because they're supposed to be like separating themselves from Europe and being a free country and like
I'm
but
so
then
confused when it comes down
70%
to.
of the nation are Christian and so they hold the Republican ideals. So it's
But
very
what
weird.
I don't okay, and like I guess then yeah, then it comes down to just being Christian, I guess. Because it doesn't seem like it's more than that. And when it comes down to Christianity, it doesn't seem very open to anything, basically. It's their way
No.
or the highway. So
Yeah.
you have to be yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So when you look at other countries like that are like a majority of something, like I think it's Israel is Jewish majority. I don't know if
That's
it's
correct. That is
okay, yeah, yeah,
correct.
yeah. And then Saudi Arabia is Islamic majority, and then America is Christian majority.
Correct. Yeah.
What are the similarities you see with all these countries? Whatever the majority population is, they do their best to keep it that way. So they try to oppress everyone else. And so when you assimilate a country based on ideas like religion, you if you control the media or you do whatever, right? Well, in America, it's not so much controlling the media as Fox News specifically is just a Christian station that's all Republican all the time.
Yeah.
You just show that to your kids and your community and you assimilate everyone into the same idea. And that's what America's trying to
Uh
do.
there we go.
Even
That makes sense.
even though America's supposed to be the free nation, it's supposed to be the greatest nation, all this jazz. So it has the
That's the
freedom
part I don't
press.
get.
Yeah. It's like how
The
can you
land of the
be if
free
it's
or something like this?
yeah,
I'm
unless you go against
confused.
Jesus. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
so
hypocritical.
that's where I'm just like don't understand the whole like I don't know. It's very hard again because like I'm black, so I'm just thinking like I'm all for
Well,
everybody. Like
yeah,
why wouldn't
yeah.
I
And
be? Because
and
I'm the minority, I guess.
you're part yeah, yeah, there are less of you in the nation, well, of Canada, America, and everywhere, right? Than
Oh
the
no, there
European
exactly.
nation.
So for me, I have like a
Yeah.
totally different perspective on
what the
as
hell's
like
going
I
on
don't know.
down there.
Again, like it's a different feeling for me. I don't know how to describe it, but
Well, because it's not just Christianity; it's also slavery, which is
yeah,
part of Christianity. Because in Christianity, it says you're allowed to be a slave owner. So it's like if the Bible tells you it's okay, then of course it's going to be okay. That's why it took so much longer for America to end slavery than it did Canada or any of the other European
yeah.
nations.
So then when I'm seeing the stuff on the news and things like this, I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, maybe now it's time for a little bit of change. Maybe people are now gonna start to see with this new president that it's just like so many different things where I was just looking on the Trump side and I'm just thinking just bias, like not skin color or anything. I'm just thinking who
Hmm.
would stand for this shit? I don't get it. I'm so
Yeah.
confused. Like even if it's for an economical purpose, I still don't understand.
Well, no, I don't think it's that
I
either.
don't get
It's
it. I don't get anything.
so
I'm like
I
environment, all this stuff. I'm just like,
how
what?
he's the
What do you
opposite of
want? What
anything
do you
good.
want? Do you want
Yeah.
the world just to like burn in
Burn.
hell? Like I don't get it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
so
It's weird. So
here's what I get out of it. So, and again, so it's funny. Yeah,
want to
it's
say
good
that
that we
like
go down this
burn in
tangent.
hell.
No,
Sorry.
no, no, but just a real hell. Turn hell into the real world.
Hmm.
Um, but well,
Something like
you look
this.
at
Yeah.
California, it literally looks like hell. Everything's on fire. It's crazy. But yeah, with the different ideas and stuff that's out there and why anyone would vote for Trump. This is what I think in my head. For the people who are actual Trump lovers, I think they have to only be like 30% of the vote who are like the actual insane conspiracy theorists. I'm imagining that's like 30% of the country. And this is just
Okay.
me trying to do an educated guess. And then everyone else who voted for him, the other 70% of the people who voted for Trump, just did it because they're Republicans and their parents were Republicans and their community is Republican and they're part of a red state. So they like probably hate Trump too, but then they vote for him because you always have to vote red because you're a
That's
Republican.
just what
It's like
it
it's an
is.
identity thing. So it's like even if they hate Trump, they still have to vote for him because they vote red. Because
Yes.
being
Correct.
Republicans the only thing that matters. So it's like an identity thing. It has nothing to do with actual thoughts. They're not going, well, if it's good for the economy or if it's good for this or that. They're not actually thinking like that. They're just thinking, my father voted red, I will vote red. My child will vote red.
Yeah.
And it's
Which
like,
is brutal. It's brutal
yeah,
that people don't have, and I think that's where a lot
don't
of
actually think
things,
about it.
like for instance, no offense, but that's kind of like I'm not that close with my family. Like I am, and I'm not in some ways,
Yeah,
but it's just certain views. Like my family's full, like religious, all this shit. But like,
yeah,
if I were when I was drinking, and we would go, like I would go to like Christmas or whatever things. It's just like little things they say with no like backing to it would infuriate me, and
yeah.
that's why I
Oh
don't
my God.
associate with certain family.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Like it's
man.
insane. It's like
That's
insanity.
it's a psychological thing. They say the more you know, the less confident you are because you know how much you don't know. So the more confident someone is, usually the dumber they are and the less they know.
And I'm a sponge. Like I soak up everything. So I
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
I'm soaking it up from one perspective only. It's I'm looking at this one perspective. Why is this person thinking this way? And now I want to know what everybody else's perspective is on the situation. It's almost like
Yeah.
when you say like let me read the room. Like it's almost like you can feel something when it's off and like
Yeah.
imagine now this person has kids and they're bringing those kids up to think the same way. It's
Yeah.
very I can see very much how the cycle continues. It's very hard for someone to break the cycle. Like for me, for
Hmm.
an example, I'm
Well,
a
you're an exception,
millennial,
right?
so I
Yeah.
break the cycle. So my um, my little offsprings are going to be think differently than say my dad and his dad, and
Yeah.
because I didn't fall in line.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
I think.
You didn't
Honestly, it's like a
assimilate to what
robot.
your parents said. Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying
Yeah.
that people that do that are. I'm just saying that like it's very easy to
Just do
fall in
what you're
line with your
told.
pack. It's like your pack.
Yeah.
You're gonna follow the pack leader, obviously.
Yeah.
It's your
That's how it works. That's
that's
how you
just
stay
how it
safe.
is.
That's like a survival mechanism. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you stay with your family, stay with your wolf pack, and just do whatever they say. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's insane. The only way to make things better is to change, but how can we change when it's so easy to stay in line, right? It's you're asking for a lot of bravery in the world, but it's like that's what we need. Because otherwise, think about it. The idea of something like racism, because, obviously Canada has it too. It's not just an American thing, but in America they got it a lot harder. It comes from the fact that once upon a time there was slavery, and then the parents of that time taught their kids, just because these other people are free doesn't mean you have to respect them or treat them like humans. And then they
Right.
pass that down to their kids. And now it's been like 200 years, but it still exists in our society because it's like embedded in
It's
the identity
embedded.
of America. America is freedom from Europe, but then it's also slavery and racism. It's like a combination of those two things. It's insane. So it's like,
It's like off. It's like it's like
how do you
I
break
don't
the
even know how to
cycle?
just. It's like, and you can't break the cycle because the cycle's technically built to not really
it's
break. Like I
it's
know that
built into the
sounds
Constitution, right? Like obviously they've
uh
rewritten the laws since
how to
then.
describe
Like Jim Crow law isn't a thing anymore, but it was once upon a time.
or like this is a good way to kind of put it. Okay, like Black History Month when you're in
Yeah,
school for Black History Month.
yeah,
It's almost like Black History Month for me. I would hate Black History Month.
yeah,
Like I would hate it. Like I would hate Black History Month because I'm the only black person in the class. Why the fuck do any of these people care when, on top of it, we're not learning about really about the history. We're just saying Black History Month and we're just talking about black people, but we're not
mm,
essentially learning about the slavery, all these things. Like not none of that stuff is mentioned. It's just black people are here. It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
month
They
of
go,
black
they
people,
go. The inventor of silly putty was a black man,
black
and they go,
person.
oh,
So
that's cool.
acknowledge
Yeah,
it. Okay, cool.
but what does that actually
What the
do?
fuck does that
Like
have to
you're
do with
just,
anything? Like it doesn't.
yeah,
It's just like, oh, it's the worst. It's just like,
yeah,
and you're learning, and then you're growing up, and then I'm moving into this apartment, right? The
yeah.
person that was here prior had asked me. He goes, I don't understand the difference. If I'm in a bad neighborhood, why is it any different? Because of our skin color. I go,
Right,
you're
yeah,
like, this is because they're not taught these things, and because like it's not passed down from being taught. So like, if he learned in school on Black History Month that I don't even, and for me to like explain it to him, he's like, I don't think he still understood. It's like
yeah. No, because
he
that's not it.
doesn't get
Yeah,
it.
it just
It's
wouldn't
like hard
happen.
to
Yeah,
describe, right? So
yeah,
it's just if we're slow, like now we have so much well, how to put it, we have so much technology and
yeah,
information at our fingertips, and that's really what's going to change. People that want to learn will learn about it, and people that want to stay the same will stay the same, and eventually those people will get, so like 20 years from now we may be living a full non-red life. Like it's something where like those
yeah,
people will
yeah,
eventually just fade off because it doesn't make sense to think a certain that way anymore. It's
yeah,
almost like
yeah.
why
That
would you
that
think
restrictively.
like I'm
Yeah,
still like sometimes I get this. This is a perfect example.
yeah,
I drive an SUV and it's a nicer SUV.
yeah.
And before this, I used to drive a Cadillac CTS, and
Oh, dang.
it's a
Yeah,
nicer car. So I actually kind of when I sold this car, I wanted to downgrade because I felt like I was getting so many like I would get tickets all the time for no reason, like just tickets.
oh
And
my
I
God,
know it's
yeah.
not, and I
Oh,
know I'm not, there's obviously a reason. Like I've obviously was in the negative, but
right.
it's more of like, oh, I was expecting a warning, or like, oh, I was expecting just to be let off because
Mm.
I was only going this amount over the speed limit. Whereas if it was just say
Every day you
a
see
white
people who
people,
are,
yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah, going way
you're
faster and
getting
they
the
just
full
don't
ticket. It's
get
like,
pulled over.
okay. Like
Yeah,
I literally, there was one time too, I remember I was telling this, get this. I was telling, and I was speeding. I was 100% speeding. I was going to take my brother to his driving test. And
yeah,
I haven't gotten many tickets. I maybe had like 5 tickets in my whole all of driving. And I'm 29 now. I got my license as soon as when I was 16.
yeah,
This is just an example. This is a perfect example of I was just going to pick my brother up.
mm,
And what was really weird about the situation was a certain song came on in the car. And I'm literally like, I'm one street over from my house. So
yeah,
I literally have to just go to the end of the street, turn, and then I'm at my house.
yeah,
So I turn the corner to this street and I'm driving and this song comes on and I'm just remembering a time like I'm going to go take my brother to his driving test.
yeah,
And I remember a time when this is the time that like my mom took me to take my driving test.
yeah.
And my mom passed away very suddenly one day and
Mhm.
I started thinking about this, and the song like matched up to the thought, everything, and I started bawling. I was just bawling my eyes out.
Yeah,
Driving down
yeah,
the street,
yeah,
cop pulls me over. I'm literally like crying. I'm eating glossettes, raisin glossettes.
yeah,
I was going, I think 13, 14, maybe 13 over the speed limit. I think
yeah,
accurately 13 over the speed limit.
yeah,
Usually it's you have a leeway of 10, no?
yeah, yeah.
10-ish.
That's how
I
I
was
think
going
about it. Yeah,
13.
yeah,
And I told the driver, I said, hey, I literally live one street over. He sees my all this stuff, asking me all these questions. I'm just
yeah.
saying, I'm actually just gonna take my brother, because you honestly sometimes you have to kind of like be overly like you have to over give information because they automatically assume you're doing something.
Yeah, you're
I know it sounds
nefarious, even
bad,
though you
but it's
did
just the way
nothing
it is.
wrong. Yeah,
And even if they may not seem that, that's just the way I'm built. When I get pulled over, I have to over explain, and
mm.
I'm going to grab my wallet now and shit like that. Like I have to say shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And literally bawling my eyes out. I'm just saying my mom had passed away. This was a time. I explain it to him. He literally is like, I don't care. Just gives me the full ticket.
Oh my God.
But there's how many situations where there's girls will just cry. Oh, it's all good.
And they go,
I
"Oh, sorry, ma'am. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I watched a video.
just remember this warning." Yeah.
Yeah, little things like
Uh,
just little things like that where it's like I literally couldn't even like I literally thought he was just gonna be like because I remember I'm not driving now. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm literally going to the next street over to pick my brother up to go to a driving lesson. Like there's a reason why I was speeding. I'm clearly crying. I'm
yeah.
eating
And
glossettes.
are little kids crossing the street? Is there traffic? Like,
No, it's like early in the
yeah,
morning. Like early in the morning where I'm going to go take my brother to his driving test. It's
yeah,
not like it's like yeah, one street. It's like I'm just thinking in my head. I'm like, that was one instance. There was another instance where
yeah,
I have my phone on like a mount, and I go to
yeah,
change the song on the mount,
yeah.
and the cop is next to me, and then tells me to pull over, and
Oh my.
says, he just gives me a ticket. He doesn't tell me anything, whatever. So I'm reading it. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Why am I getting this ticket? Like, what? I didn't even know. He's like,
yeah.
read the ticket. I'm like, what the? And walks back to his car. Doesn't even tell me. What the
Jeez.
fuck is
Well,
that?
what did it say that you were on your
It was
phone or
I
what?
was texting on my phone. When I'm thinking he's gonna pull me over to like maybe my something is wrong on
Like a
my
tail light could be out
ticket or
or an
something. Yeah,
expired, yeah,
because I
expired
clearly am
license.
using the thing on my phone, but I'm not allowed
Yeah.
to touch my phone, nothing, because that was when the bill was just passed, where you're not allowed to have your phone in your hand or anything like this. But my phone was on a
Right.
mount.
Yeah, and
That's the
plus
interesting part. My
cars have
phone
center
on a mount.
consoles, which is the exact same as touching a phone on a
Yeah, my
mount.
phone's on a
That
mount. So
yeah,
I'm thinking I'm getting the ticket for something in the back of my thing. So I'm just thinking I gotta
yeah.
get rid of this car. This car is brutal. It's just the worst luck. It's the worst luck ever.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Remember that was
attracting all the
CTS.
worst attention. Yeah.
CTS, and then one more story. Now this is that
Yeah.
was like that's just a couple of situations. There's another situation now that I'm driving the SUV. Now
Yeah.
I pull up to my friend's. Maybe this was like maybe early summer, like early summer. Pull up to my friend's house. I think we were just gonna go for like a jog or like go do the stairs or something because they just had opened back up. I think that's like literally what it was.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
stairs
Like a change
opened
of the
back.
season.
It
Mhm.
was no, it was like kind of like when something had happened with Corona where like the stairs closed. They closed all the stairs and you couldn't go exercise anywhere.
Okay, okay. So it
They
was like
reopened it back
once the
up, and we're like,
lockdown ended.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were like, okay, we
Nice.
can go. We're gonna go for a hike or whatever. So I
Yeah.
pull up to her house.
Mhm.
Her dad, the way her like survey is like people need to get out of their driveways, so I have to move my car for them to get it. So I pull up to her house thinking she's gonna
Yeah.
come out instantly, but she's a girl, so she's gonna take 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So now a car that's in the next driveway over needs to pull out, so I move up,
Yeah.
right? The dad's talking to me, he's watering the grass, whatever.
Mhm.
I pull up even more because now another car wants to come up, so I pull up even more.
Yeah.
Do I not see now? So now that I'm just pulled up 3 houses ahead, even
Yeah.
though her house is 3 houses behind me,
Yeah.
dad's wondering. I see this lady now, like looking out her window,
Oh yeah. Oh
and
my
I'm literally
God.
just sitting here, like just
Yeah.
chilling, waiting.
Yeah.
She now comes out of her house,
Yeah.
and it's like she's going into her car,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'll move my car now so that you can reverse out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's hollering at me, "Who are you here for?"
Oh my God.
hollering this to me. I'm not answering. I'm
Like,
rolling down
bro,
the
I
window.
yeah, I'm in a public area. I'm on the road.
Yeah,
Leave me alone. Yeah.
do this, and then I reverse back and I pull up to the side of the house now. And
Yeah.
what's so ironic about it is she's now going to pull up and she's talking to her dad. Like it's not
Yeah.
really her dad, it's her stepdad.
Right.
She's now pulling up talking to this guy. They're having a conversation. Da 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 da. Meanwhile, I'm still on the other side now, waiting for my friend to come out.
Yeah.
Does this lady, after she's done having her conversation, does this lady not pull up beside my car and go, "Who are you
What?
waiting for?" I go,
You just
"None of
talked
your."
to the guy.
I
Like,
go,
what do
"I'm
you?
waiting for my
Oh my
friend.
God.
It's none of your
Yeah.
business." And I just roll up my window.
Yeah.
And then I told my friend, I'm like, "Hey, no, like I kind of got mad at my friend because it's like I'm here. Don't have me waiting 15 minutes outside. First of all, I know that sounds kind
Yeah.
of,
It's like,
but then let
well,
me.
well, yeah. You can be like, it's not your fault that I got harassed by this old ass lady, but like,
I mean, no, I'm gonna be waiting 15 minutes out here, so I'm not in the
yeah.
moving my car back and forth. Da 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 da. But it's
Yeah.
clear she was in a Lexus too,
Right. Yeah.
right? So it's clear she has money. She
Yeah.
sees me driving this nice car. He's clearly so he didn't earn that money. He must have somehow got it from somewhere, drug dealing, got it from something. That's just what you think, because
The assumption. Yeah.
that's the energy she's giving me.
Yeah.
All and
It's
you don't
rough.
even know me at all. Everybody knows me as like I'm a chill guy.
Yeah.
If you
The
like
chillest guy. Like, you don't. Yeah.
don't disrespect, like it's just so rude. Not even hi, hello, nothing. Who are you hollering at me from the car? It's like
Yeah.
it's in a certain entitlement already. It's like she's coming out. You don't own the complex. Are you the
Yeah.
police? Like what the? But easily those things can turn into something so much bigger if I handle it the wrong way. My mom once
Yeah.
taught me just be respectful, leave the party, the nice guy. You don't have to like put your chest up and be all this. That's why I don't drink, because when I did drink,
Right.
that was the type of altercations I was getting in. Those little tiny stuff,
Yeah.
I would snatch it in a second.
Yeah. Well, because if the world's constantly judging you for something you didn't do, how can you not get fucking pissed? You know,
It's intense because it's
yeah,
certain things. I was speeding. I
yeah,
did have my phone. Like I didn't have it in my hand physically, but I did change the song, and my music was loud. Like I
yeah,
have this in the Cadillac. They have both speakers. All my windows are
right,
up.
yeah,
Right. All my windows are up. See the police car pull me. He telling me to roll down the window. So I'm rolling down the window, and he's now telling me to pull over. All my
yeah,
windows are up. I'm minding my own business. I literally went and got an egg McMuffin. And I'm working 2 minutes away from the egg McMuffin. I'm just saying, hey, I'm just getting an egg McMuffin. But I looked damn good. I was in a suit. I had a nice
yeah, yeah,
thing
yeah,
on. I had a briefcase because, like, at the time, I was like running a whole restaurant at the time, so I always had to look the part manager, and
yeah.
I could just like, and it's hard to say because it's like not my hands on, but I could just feel that he just was like mad at me for some reason.
Yeah, he wanted an excuse,
Like
basically.
he was
Yeah,
pissed, and he
he
didn't
just
give
didn't
me.
like you.
And when you hear when I explain it to like my family, there was in a situation where I explained it to my family,
Yeah,
and not like my close family, but family that were at a Christmas party, and I almost left the Christmas party because they were all telling me that I was doing too much and all this stuff. And
yeah,
da,
you
da, da. I'm
deserved
like,
it. Yeah,
you fucking people, like, what do you mean? I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. Like,
yeah.
he didn't even give me an explanation on why and how to improve. That's not someone doing their job. That's someone
No,
being an
that's not
asshole.
protecting and serving. Yeah,
That's
that's
someone just being an
oppressing.
asshole, literally writing a ticket and just giving me the ticket. And the ticket was $600. It wasn't like it's a $30 ticket.
What?
It's a $600 ticket, and I had 3 demerit points
Oh my
because
God.
the bill was just passed. It was like a just pass where it's like you can't have your phone in your hand. The phone wasn't
Yeah,
even in my damn hand. So none of that's recorded anywhere. It's my word against his. Obviously, they're gonna believe him.
yeah.
Come on,
That's insane.
I'm a 20-year-old driving a Cadillac. Come on, what are they gonna
Yeah.
think? They're gonna think that obviously I'm blasting loud music. They're gonna think that, but no. There's a reason why I'm in the position I'm in because I'm respectful. I work hard. They're thinking, no, he must just have a drug dealer or something.
Yeah. Well, that's the insane thing is that,
Something. That's right.
well, like police officers have quotas, right? They do have quotas that they
Yes, they
have
do
to
have
reach.
quotas. Yes,
And
they do.
so it's like the main philosophy of the police is to protect and serve. And
Correct.
they do that anytime they answer a call because someone is telling them there's an issue, right? My house is getting robbed or there's a fight like outside this bar, and so they go and break it up. That's totally fine. But when the cops are just patrolling the streets, they're looking for a
Trouble.
reason. Yeah,
It's not
they
even
can
trouble. They're
create
looking
trouble.
for yes.
Yeah, they're looking for an excuse to pull someone over. And so it's like so many innocent
That
people have been screwed over by that sense, right? You can be like dead sober, completely aware, completely awake of your surroundings, and be going 10
exactly.
over on an empty road, and you'll get pulled over and given a ticket. And it's
And
like,
there's
but I'm fine. And then meanwhile, tons of crimes go unnoticed or unsurveyed. And it's like that's not the police's fault necessarily, but it's like they could, yeah, it could be a better system. And it currently is a system where half of the time they're harassing people.
correct. And I can guarantee
Mm.
there's lots of people that have been pulled, white people that have been pulled over going 13. I got the ticket.
Yeah.
Fine, fair enough. But the circumstance is different. When I live one street over to where I'm
Yeah.
going, one street over, I'm bawling my eyes out. Clearly, I tell
Yeah.
the officer that my mom just had passed away. This is why I'm crying
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
taking my brother to his thing for this time. So this is maybe why I'm 13 over, and I'm not
Yeah.
realizing it because, and my hands deep in a bag of glossettes from Bulk Barn, and I'm
Yeah.
offering, would you like some glossettes? Like I'm so scared, crying. It's like if
Yeah.
this was maybe a white person talking to another white, would they have maybe would have had more of an understanding. That's just my personal. Doesn't mean it's true, but that's the
But
vibe I got from the officer. That's the like
yeah.
that's how I felt. Is he's giving me the ticket? Too bad. You're going 13 over. You're getting the ticket. Too fucking
Yeah.
bad.
And
Regardless of my
all
skin color or not, you're getting the ticket.
yeah. And it's also extremely unfortunate that people who are in power are people who seek power. And people who seek power usually aren't the most understanding or sympathetic human beings in the world. That's why there's so much brutality and abuse of power in the world, not just in policing, but in politics and the world being run in general. It's half, more than half of
Mm-hmm.
the people are assholes. Like it's insane, but it's,
Right? And then the first
yeah.
thing they're asking me is this your car? What? Why can't this be my car? Right? That's always
Yeah.
the
What
first
are
question.
you
Is this your car?
assuming? Yeah.
They're not. I'm sure when white officers pull you over, they're not asking you, "Is this your car?" They're
Yeah.
assuming it's your car. Why
Yeah.
can this not be my car? I don't understand. That's always the question. Is this your car?
Yeah.
What? Why can this be my car? It's a Cadillac CTS. So clearly, someone of your age shouldn't be driving this car. You
It
let
could
alone
be it could
color.
be a rental, it could be my
Yeah,
parents. Regardless,
it doesn't
they're not they're
matter.
not they're not actually asking that if they ask, is this your car? They're asking, did you steal it? They're not asking, is this your
Yeah, it's like
parents'
that's the
car?
vibe
Yeah.
I'm getting. It's not like is they. I'm sure lots of white cops will pull white people over and go, "Is this your car?" Yes, of course. But
They've never
there's a
done that with me.
stigma. There's obviously a reason why. It's like they're driving a nice car or whatever. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
it can. There's obviously two sides to it where it's very hard to sometimes just. It's like you don't understand when you unless you are in that person's shoes kind of thing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard to say, right? It's really really hard to say.
And that's probably why it can be such a difficult thing to try to
Exactly.
overcome or to fix, because that's something that the
Exactly.
Canadian system and the American system have issues with and have had a history of awful issues with. And so it's like, okay, we got to fix this. How do we fix it? We
Yeah,
we haven't
because
done it yet because
we
it's
don't
difficult.
learn.
Yeah,
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 we haven't learned yet to like really understand, and that's why I brought up the point with my when I moved in, how he doesn't really understand that sometimes it doesn't really matter. Like two at nighttime, I could be standing next to a car doing nothing.
yeah,
He could be standing next to a car doing nothing. But some people may think that I'm doing something negative by that car because of the time. It's nighttime. It's a
yeah,
car, and there's no reason for me to be there. If a white person is standing next to a car at nighttime, it's just a white person. It's just a person next to a car.
yeah. Oh, they could be waiting for their friend, but then if it's
Yeah.
someone black, they're
It's just
like, "Oh,
it
this is
depends on
ruined."
who's see it's but it depends on whose eyes it's being seen through. That's the
Yeah,
part where he doesn't get it. I'm just like, and
and
it's hard to
also,
describe and explain because he feels
yeah.
entitled. Well, I'm white and I feel scared in that situation. So why isn't I'm not? It's like, so you can't.
How can you teach someone a lesson with one conversation as they're like going out the door? It's like you just got to leave it. But yeah, yeah, that's one of those things that it's the way that I describe that with myself is I have a privilege of ignorance, because that's something I've never, because I don't have like the classical textbook white privilege of like money or anything, because I don't. I'm lower middle class. Like I don't, I shared a soccer mom van with all of my siblings growing up, but I never, but I was never harassed too. So that's where that privilege aspect would come in my life, where it's like I didn't know that there was even an issue because I'd never been harassed before, right? And it isn't until you understand that other people's worlds are entirely different to yours because they have to have this defense ready at all points,
It's
right?
like a defense, yeah. It's like a defense. Like
Yeah.
ultimately, that's a perfect way. It's like you're on defense. It's like I'm getting pulled over, and I know that I have to like be scared and like be perfectly like perfect right now because if I don't, I'll probably die or something. Like imagine
Yeah,
having
yeah,
that
yeah.
feeling
Yeah,
when
that
there's
a
someone
cop
that's
could
supposed to
just come
protect
up with
you.
an excuse to kill you. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
insane.
it's something that's been like, and it's so interesting because it's just of like recent. It's like now
Well,
people are starting to realize this
thanks
is
to
how people
cameras
felt.
and
Yeah,
yeah, the fact that
it's
you can videotape
insane.
things.
It's like
Yeah.
how it's like finally we're finally getting some recognition of just like that's how it's hard. It's been really hard, but people,
Yeah.
it's just been there hasn't been much change. Like a lot of black people will say that Obama didn't really do much, but like
Yeah.
it's
How
again,
all of society needs to change. It's a combination. It's not just policy, it's policy and people. How do
yeah,
people change, right? It helps if policies change, but that still you'll still get all of those insane Trump supporter conspiracy theorists who are saying they want America great again when it was what, a slave nation? Like when was America great again? Like what timeline are you referring to? Where women
yeah.
couldn't vote or black people couldn't vote? Like
It's
it was not
sad.
its past was not great, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad when you think about it. But again, everybody is entitled
Well,
to their own opinion. So
yeah, and also hopefully, even though there will be setbacks like Trump in the world, we will always still eventually be moving forward. Like the fact that media, television, and film have now
it's great.
um, worked towards actually having there be inclusivity and different dimensions to people, and like in CBC they got Kim's Convenience, where it's like Asian convenience store owners.
Yeah,
It's like that show's never been told before. We've never understood
it's
that
great.
perspective,
It's
and
great.
like
All races need to
Blackish and
be they need to be pushed. All races need to be pushed and
seen in
elevated.
the world represented.
Yes.
Yeah, because if they aren't, then people have ignorant mindsets, like cops pulling you over asking if that's your car. Because it's like that's the old world way of thinking, where you just assume because someone's black that they grew up in like a dangerous neighborhood and therefore they're just
Yeah.
a
Or
criminal
they're
by birth.
ghetto. Or they're ghetto, like
Yeah,
for instance. Like I'm not ghetto, like because I'm
yeah,
black. Like what? I can be ghetto if you want, but it doesn't mean that that's who I am because I'm black. Like what?
yeah. That's just
Or I
ignorance.
can't own to money because I'm black. It's like it's like people get mad almost when like black people
When
are
you go, no,
successful.
this is my car. Like, yeah, like I
Yeah, it's
earned
like they're
this.
mad.
Yeah,
Like I know for a fact, like for a fact, there's some people in my neighborhood that are not happy that
just from your
they
existence.
they're just like are mad. And it's like I live with Asian people, so
Yeah,
they what was so interesting was um they had told shared some stories with me when we were outside on the driveway,
yeah,
and they tell me that yeah, they get the same type of stuff. And I'm just thinking, oh, I honestly thought it was just me. Like I honestly thought it was just me. And this lady that lives a little further down the street, she's a white lady, and she one day called me over and made a huge like thing of flowers and stuff for me and gave
oh
it to
what?
me. And this was
Oh,
like right after an altercation with this person down the street. And
oh,
you
no
can just
kidding. Yeah,
and like it's just you're thinking, why are these people so crazy? It's like what? But
yeah,
but when you're coming out of your house, you're seeing them looking at you, you're seeing them like watching your stuff, and then you're hearing
yeah.
comments saying that because like for instance, on the street, we're the only ones with a boat.
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
So they're mentioning to the owners that they stole the boat. They're like,
What?
"Oh, did you guys steal this
God.
boat?" Like, how could you just blatantly ask someone if they
Why
stole
would
something
you?
like that?
That's insane. Yeah. Why?
So
In
rude
what way are you basing that accusation? Because we're a different
because
race?
you don't
Like,
have a boat.
yeah,
Just little things like that where you're like, it's not only black people, it's like the Asian people too. It's because we work really hard. Like these
yeah,
people work really hard. Like they work hard. Like
yeah,
it's not like they came to this country and they're just handed a whole bunch of money. No, they came to the country and they're working hard to get the money they have now. And now because they've invested and they've worked hard to get that, they're able to reap the benefits of it.
yeah, yeah.
Simple as that. And it's like some people like again, a lot of things like I was watching this one meme where it's like people are again on a certain side where they are not taught about finances, they're not taught about
Yeah.
money, they're taught to go to school and like listen to what is on the board, and then go to get a college degree and then spend all
Yeah.
this money and then be in debt and all these things, which is fine for certain people, and some people do that and they're not in debt and they do it the right way because they're taught the right way.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to be taught things where we should all be essentially financially free, but we're not because of certain times and certain circumstances. And these older people, for instance, no offense, are in a certain situation where they have to work really hard to get the money that they've had, and they see people like myself who, or other younger people that are now have better things that they may have, but they feel like they are more entitled and they've worked harder for it. But
Yeah.
it's more of it's just a different time and different circumstances, and everybody, there's billions of people in the world, and you're just not one of them that have a boat. And if you want a boat, go get a boat.
Yeah, you can sell your car to get a boat, or you can continue to
Like if
work
that's
harder.
really, but people are so like, again, they're like drones.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, and yeah, another good analogy is like, and this one's more America specific than Canada, but they'll like complain about Mexican workers coming over and stealing all their jobs. Like there's like a meme of that with South Park, and it's like they're not stealing your jobs. They're accepting jobs that you think you're too good for because it pays way less, and they'll work 3 jobs, and so that's why they have the money they have. And yet you're
Exactly.
just saying, "Oh, they're stealing it." No, they're not. You didn't want it because you're lazy, and so they took it because they're willing to work harder for it because they had less. And so since you always had stuff, you're just less disciplined and lazy. And yeah, so it's like it's ignorance on top of arrogance, and it's like the ugliest version a person can be. And that's like America is like the ugliest. Well, other countries too, obviously, where North Korea is probably a good example of
Probably like,
really bad
yeah,
circumstance. But yeah, it's like
yeah, North Korea is
there's
the worst.
definitely there's waves of people in America that can probably equal out to King Jong Un, where it's like if they had the money, they would be as terrible as him. It's
Yeah,
like you can just yeah.
exactly. Like when you think about all the Trumps, it's like I just don't like, even just like alone on the climate change. Like when I'm hearing
Right.
about things about the climate change, I'm just like, these people are absolutely insane.
Well, it's like it's not an opinion. It's a science. It shouldn't
Like,
be
what is wrong with
politicized.
you?
Same with the masks.
Yes,
It's like when what like this can't be a political thing. Like it's not in other countries. It's
yes.
only in
It's like
America and Canada,
there's
unfortunately.
only one way of thinking. If you're not thinking this way, then I don't know what is, like, I just don't get. And then again, it's for benefit of self. That's what that side is. It's like it's self benefit.
Yeah.
Doesn't benefit anybody else besides the self.
And the immediate self, not even your children. It's like you'll fuck over your
Yeah, just
children
self
just for you
only.
to have
Like,
money right now. Yeah.
yeah, it
It's insane.
sucks.
It's awful.
Bad. It's
Yeah.
horrible. But again,
Well, it doesn't mean you should drink to tie it all back together.
yeah,
So
don't
if
drink.
you were upset with the election results or you were elated from the election results, but you're a recovered alcoholic, just don't jump off the boat for this. It's not worth it. Stay
Definitely.
riding, stay true to
Especially
yourself.
you Americans out there. Yeah,
Yeah,
keep it clean.
yeah, that's right. And so, yeah, we're rounding the end of this podcast, but I didn't even bring up a little update, little vlog update for you guys, even though there's no
You're
video
in the
of it. But
mountains now.
yeah, I moved. I live in the
You're in
mountains
the
now.
mountains now.
No, so it's like I'm still in Canada. Or like I'm not in the Rocky Mountains or anything, but I am actually on a hill. It's just very not the prettiest hill ever. I'm up on Dufferin in Toronto.
Different. Okay.
So I have moved. Yes. My
He's in
girlfriend and I
TO,
got a
guys.
place.
But now
That's
he's
right.
really quarantined now.
Well, now I gotta.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, it's a dangerous place.
Yeah, it's
So
like
yeah, yeah.
quarantine.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I'm in Burlington right now just for the end of like this weekend, and then I'm heading to Toronto and just
And
stay.
you're in Toronto.
Yeah.
So how did the move go?
Good,
Like you
really
moved this
smooth.
weekend.
There were a couple of things that were coming later just because we were like having it shipped to us rather than we drove it. But yeah, so the only thing we're missing now is the sectional. We got the bed frame, we got the mattress, we got the internet, we got everything we needed, the TV stand, coffee table, all that jazz. So now we just need sectional and then we're done.
Dope. That's
Yeah.
sick, man. That's so good.
So it's great.
So
It's like the house is small, but it's gorgeous. We love it. It's like
that's
no
sick.
complaints anywhere. Yeah.
Oh,
Both the
that's awesome.
neighbors, we got 2 neighbors, one upstairs and one downstairs.
I'm
and then we got the main floor, and they're both just like a single party. It's not like a couple or a group of people, and they're both quiet, and yeah,
okay.
it's great. It's great. It's an awesome
Cool.
setup.
So
Yeah,
it's like a triplex then,
I
kind of, but not
guess
really.
it's a house,
Kind of
and then so it
turned
has
into
a
three,
basement and an upstairs. Yeah, so it got turned into 3 apartment buildings. So it's like everybody has their own
it's like
kitchen.
me
Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I remember I was mentioning that I live with an Asian family upstairs. They're
yeah,
great. I love them. They're so sweet.
yeah. Yeah, so it's the same thing, just less space. Yeah, that's the difference between like Hamilton and Toronto. Toronto, there's literally no space for anything. It's super tight. Everything's condensed. But yeah, yeah.
It's
The
so I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. That's a really,
Thank you
really
very much. I
so
did it. Hey, it took a
great.
little while. Yeah, I'm 27, but finally moved out of my parents' place. So yeah, it's good.
Hey man, everybody just no, there's no time frame or anything. As long as you're
Yeah,
happy, you're on the inside, healthy mind, and all that jazz, everything else follows, man.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
good.
And a great thing too is you would think, oh, when you move out, when you're not with your parents too much, you feel like there isn't as much of an eye on you. So maybe
Yeah.
that could open up the risk of drinking again, something like that. But aside from the fact that there is no risk mentally in my head, I never waver between drinking or not drinking. But
Mhm.
also, my girlfriend almost doesn't drink at all. Like
Okay.
she'll
Yeah.
she'll have 1 or 2 beers maybe every other weekend. So she's really I lucked out on that where it's like I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. And I even remember because I was still drinking when I was with her for the first 2 years,
Okay.
secretly
Yeah.
without telling her. I remember kind of being disappointed on the nights we went out because I like was trying to get her drunk and she was like, no, like I just want to buzz. And I was like, come on. And then I would get wasted. And I was
Yeah,
like, I
because
want
you
you to
don't
get
want to be
wasted with me.
alone.
Yeah. But now it's great
Yeah.
because it's like the only downside is that she kind of misses getting drunk with me or me getting drunk like alongside her and stuff. And so now
Yeah.
it's like I try to encourage her to drink even though I'm not drinking. And she every so often will now just have 1 beer unless she's with someone who's also drinking. But
Okay.
yeah, it's like there's no alcohol in our house so far. So that'll eventually so she'll
Yeah.
start putting up ciders or whatever in the fridge. But yeah, it's great.
It's
So yeah.
insane. It's insane, like how to like just on self, you're gonna like just on self, you're gonna save so much money from not like being on your own and
Yeah.
not drinking. Like
Oh,
imagine someone
not
that's
drinking and not
drinking
smoking.
and then
Yeah.
just moved out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that? Like, that's
The
majority of the
expenses.
money goes to alcohol. It's like rent and
Yeah.
alcohol and food.
Well, there wouldn't even be food. I would just drink instead. If I was still drinking, right? I would
Yeah,
just
because
drink
the
instead of
drinking
get
will be
groceries.
fine. Exact. It's just
Yeah.
nuts. Like, you're in the clear right now, man. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, you and me both, right? You've been doing it for a lot longer than me, but yeah, 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 yeah. Now we're both moved out peoples. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's it, man. You just steps, do your thing,
Yeah.
one
Keep
step at a
at it.
time, and you just be happy, and that's it. That's what I've like literally have just been, because everything going on right now is there is so much views and like all these things like going on in people's heads, this virus, all these things where it's like, everyone just like quarantine. It's like this 2020. I'm ready to like. It needs to let me out. I'll walk. I'm
Yeah,
over
just
2020. I'm done. Like end this
yeah,
quick, because
yeah.
2020 it's been a year that has
Just demolished
like
everything.
what happened. Like 2020.
Got eaten.
I posted a thing. Remember I was mentioning to you about
Yeah,
how like
yeah.
I
So
did
what
the
was it?
Halloween thing where I was like,
Yeah,
oh, you guys posted. I guess y'all didn't care. I
yeah.
ended up deleting that because I felt bad judging people. But it's like I'm not
Right.
trying to cause anything. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just trying to live a carefree life, and that's what I realized. I don't like being on that platform
Yeah,
for those reasons. I just like use it for just like work, and that's it. Like post
yeah,
our stuff, done. I'm out. I'm not trying to watch stories. I'm not trying to. People just constantly need like validation for things. I'm just like, I don't want to be part of this. I don't know why. It's just me personally.
yeah.
Everyone do whatever you want to do, but there was a thing where it killed me. I had to post it. It was a
What?
meme. It was a meme saying, "Me in 10 years, when the cashier goes, your total is 2020," and it showed a
Vietnam
chihuahua like
flashbacks.
with like
Yeah.
its eyes bulging out, and it was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
bombs and like helicopters and like
Oh my
it was
God.
just
Yeah.
the
That's funny.
mask. It was like, oh my
Yeah.
god! Now
This
you
is
can add the
true, bro.
election to that. Add the election onto that. Like, what's gonna happen
Yeah.
around Christmas time? It's like,
I know this
oh
year's not
my,
even done yet, which is the
oh
insane thing to think about. It's like, let's see what happens. Hopefully nothing bad, but yeah, see what happens. Oy.
The positive
Yeah,
thing though is we're still running strong, guys. We 2020
yeah,
hasn't taken us down. It stopped us for a couple months, but we're back and we're ready and we're better than ever. We
yeah.
are a couple episodes ahead, but we are. So this is gonna come out. And you're gonna be like, "What? The elections have been over for like 3 years." Just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. Well, that's the good thing though, is that he doesn't get the new president-elect Biden won't get inaugurated until like January. So it won't officially have happened by the time this drops. So it's
We
still
need
it's still
enough time.
going to be in the in between. But yeah,
We need a few months to drag his ass out of there.
that's right. Yeah, it'll take a while.
Say it
Yeah.
like that, but sorry to say it like that, guys. I'm not trying to get aggressive or anything up in here, but you already
But
know
get him
he's gonna
evicted.
be.
Get Trump the fuck out. Yeah.
He's gonna hold on to that to the very last piece of dental floss.
Yeah, Biden's gonna need to get like a super vacuum sucker to get all the orange Cheeto dust off the seat once Trump finally
Cheetos,
gets his ass out.
extra crispy.
Yeah, just orange dust, just butt cheek slam down on the chair. Oh, they'll
So
probably just
gross.
replace it, throw it out in the
Yeah,
dumpster
just
at the White
replace them.
House.
Just
Yeah.
replace. So everything's gonna have like an orange tint.
Yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
the White
Yeah.
House anymore. It's like an orange tinted White House.
You'll have to
Everything repainted.
quarantine the White House for 2 weeks and just like vacuum seal it and just like aerate everything to make sure coronavirus isn't still in there after Trump released it. Oh my God. But anyway, hey, so
Okay,
yeah,
bye,
no, no,
guys.
no. Yeah, we'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for being here.
See you next week.
This was the election episode, I guess. But yeah, we will see you guys next week.
That's
And
what it's
so
gonna be
until then,
called.
yeah,
Election episode.
this is the election episode. We got
I
him.
love it.
Yeah. It's a little late, but it's still early. So yeah, until next time, see you guys.
Bye.
Stop.